What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining this client interview. I've got my guy Dan on the line here. He's actually from Australia and 14 hours ahead, and we're still able to make this possible. So that's really cool. Dan, I'm not going to steal your thunder. Why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself real quick for the audience, man?
G'day, how's it going? I'm Dan Price. As Nate just said, I'm from Sydney, Australia. Catcher, class of 27, I believe is what it correlates to. Yeah, I'm just looking forward to, making leaps and bounds in the sport, play college ball, and then eventually, hopefully, pro ball after that.
Yeah, dude. That's sick, man. So before we hop in this interview, and obviously we have the time difference, and I woke up to a text that Dan just absolutely crushed a PR, and we just started our EV Summer Challenge. So that came at a perfect time for that, and that was like 3 hours ago. So why don't you just walk me through that moment, man? Like what happened when you hit that PR and how'd that feel?
Oh, as you can see from the video, it felt great. Like,
Yeah.
had to let out a scream after, like, it was awesome. So before that, I was sitting, like, I hit 82, 82, 82, 82. I'm just like, come on, like, get me more, because I was 83.
Yeah.
And then I get 84, and I'm just like, dude, I'm gassed, but I got more, I got more. Had a sip of water, come back 3 swings later, 85, and I'm just
Sick.
stoked.
That's awesome, dude. And Pops was with you there, correct?
Yeah.
Awesome. What was his reaction to watching that number come up? Because he's been there, with you the whole time, as far as I'm concerned. He's in a lot of the videos, he's feeding you rounds and stuff. What was that
Yeah.
moment like for him specifically when he kind of saw you pop off and hit that number?
He was obviously on the camera, so I turn around, see the little smile, see the
Yeah,
laugh, and then afterwards we were talking. He's like, "Yeah, a boy," and then sent it to mum, and mum was proud and everything. So it was a great moment. It was so good.
sick, dude. Well, that's awesome to hear that both your parents are proud of where you come and are very supportive of your development, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I know everyone watching, they're probably like, man, he's from Australia. Like, how does this work? How does really any of this happen being so far away? Which honestly is a pretty valid thought. And I could only assume maybe you and your family had similar thoughts before joining at some point before you decided to hop on. So what was like the most ridiculous thing you might have told yourself before we started? Like, there's no way this is gonna work, or we're just too far away. Like, did you have any specific doubts in your guys' head before you really decided to move forward with this?
It was more so just the fact of like, was I gonna have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to hop on a call, or like stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning, like
Mm.
stuff like that. But it's worked out really well considering the time difference, like you said. So everything's good. Like we get our chats in, we get our calls in, we get the workouts done, everything gets scheduled. So it all ends up working really well in the end. So
Yeah, dude. So it was more so kind of just the time difference rather than maybe the distance or connection based.
yeah, 100%.
Gotcha, man. And what made you comfortable, like, trusting a coach you've never met, let alone one from Indiana in the United States, all the way from Sydney, Australia, man?
More so just the fact of I've seen, like, I saw all your posts, everything you've done, like everything like contingent around the fact of I know that this guy's going to get me where I want to go. So I think I should just trust him and then trust the process, and then we'll look where we are. So I think it shows that it's worked.
Sick, dude. And what kind of led to that? Was it the results on my page? Was it maybe some of the reels, the content?
A mixture of both, yeah. Like I like the reels and then a bit of comedic value to
Yeah.
making stuff happen. So that was good. And then
It's cool.
as well as just the real time results of everything that's been going on. So
For sure. Yeah, dude. Well, I appreciate that, and do try to throw in a little bit of, a little bit of sauce on the Instagram there.
yeah,
So
yeah.
glad you appreciate it, man. So, well, yeah, I mean, like I said, and obviously we've covered a couple times already, but 14 hours ahead of me. We've never stood in the same room at all. but your numbers have still moved a lot, which we'll get into here briefly. But walk me through that, man, because honestly, in a lot of people's eyes, that isn't possible or shouldn't be possible. So, in your view, Dan, like what really moves numbers in this thing if it's not physically being present with you?
Uh, just having a consistent program, like a consistent program,
Mm,
and having a program that is proven to get you somewhere and that's planned and that's forever changing to your needs. So it's the fact of you can sit at your computer and still make solid progress because you know that the program's been proven, but as well as it's adaptable to the athlete.
right. Hey, man, 2026, there is anything's possible, man. Anything is possible in
100%.
2026. Game has definitely changed a little bit as far as baseball training and even from the coaching side. Like, I come from a strength and conditioning background. Like, that's kind of my foundation. Um, and that's just changed so much where, 10 years ago, your norm was, I mean, like 10 years ago, Dan, you had to go to somewhere in Sydney probably to,
Yeah,
you know, actually take your development serious and get that help you needed. It was in person, man. And things have changed, just the past decade where you now have the ability to impact people across the world. And I think that's the coolest thing ever, especially when you get results like Dan and clearly like how much it's affecting and impacting him in a positive light. I think it's literally the coolest thing of all time. So that's awesome. Tell me how seeing these results, joining a community of athletes, has actually changed how you see yourself as a player. Not so much just the numbers, but Dan, the person, the player, and that identity.
I think it's just the fact of I know I'm not necessarily not alone, but I know I've got other people around me in the same boat. So I know that there's always, they say, the light at the end of the tunnel. So I know that there's the spot for me to get to because you've seen guys in the program getting recruited, getting big numbers. I know we said outside the numbers, but and then succeeding in the game. So I think having that is a real good motivator to keep progressing and then keep going and then getting numbers jumping and hopefully progressing further in the sport.
Yeah, dude. 100%. It's that competitive factor. And it's if you're in a community of athletes, that's really the only way you're gonna get that. I mean, Dan, I could have had you join the program. I could have gave you PDFs. I could have gave you just your programming on your schedule, but you're never going to get that competitive flair with that. You're never going to be able to look around at the athletes surrounding you that want to get to your very similar, goals and destinations, but even beyond. And you can look around and say, you know, Julian's up 10 EV, but I'm up 11, dude. Like, let's go. Or like, I need to get above, where he's at. So I think just pushing the athletes inside the community is like a non-tangible part that people don't think about when it comes to athletic development. And just from my perspective, I mean, I think that pushes you guys past your boundaries and your limitations that you guys may put on yourself subconsciously. And just that extra push to really start seeing numbers, really start changing your identity and step into a new version of yourself, man. Which
Yeah.
it brings me to my next train of thought here, which is actually Coach Ross. And I wish he could be on this call, but he was unavailable. But I want to get your insight and perspectives on maybe your interactions with Coach Ross and the mental side and the approach. How has that really been affected and impacted throughout the program, man?
It's been really good because it's changed how I think, not just in the box, but approaching the game, during the game, and after the game. So going from we spoke about it in one of our last calls, going from, oh, don't miss this pitch. If he throws it again, you can't miss it, you can't miss it, to, hey, he throws it again, I'm going to hit it far. So it's just changing how the brain works and then rewiring the reward system instead of, hey, I got a hit. to, yeah, I had a great at bat, or I took a great swing on this pitch, or I hit a baseball 85 miles an hour straight at the third baseman. So it's just really changed the perspective on how the game should be played and also what happens during the game.
That's sick, dude. That's so sick. You're very advanced for your age, man. And when you said that, all I could think of was, wow, I thought that way when I played because I definitely was completely results driven. I was thinking about what everyone else was thinking about me. I didn't rewire any of that reward system, man. So that's really great to hear that Coach Ross has had such an impact on you and the fact that he was able to preach some of his knowledge that he's gained, playing this game for 15 to 20 years at an extremely high level, and the fact that he's able to pass that on at such an effective manner to you guys makes me extremely happy and makes me very appreciative of bringing Coach Ross along in this thing, man, for sure. But let's get to the part where you're probably looking forward to the most, and I think the most exciting probably for people watching is your improvements, man. And let's talk about the metrics and the numbers a little bit. There's been a couple categories you've been absolutely crushing in. So I'm curious for you, Dan. Obviously, I already know the answer, but for the people watching, what has been your improvements metrically inside the program, dude?
So starting off, just as of today, I've gone from program start, I've gained 11 miles an hour on my exit velocity, 10 miles an hour on my bat speed, and I've shaved off about zero point 0.5 off my 60. So they're the big three.
I mean, that's pretty insane. So, you've been in the program for what, about 2 months now. I think you're right about 2 months at this point
Yeah.
inside the program, and you got some more time to really start elevating these numbers as if you haven't already. But how's that made you feel, man? I mean, how's that really been impacting you? Just seeing those three numbers in particular kind of jump off the page, and I know you've had your peers and teammates come up to you and say, "Dang, he's looking faster. He's pulling some weight." Like all of that accumulated, man. Like, how does that make you feel, and what kind of changes have you made from the start to now, just in that sense?
I think it's really helped like how I see myself. Like instead of being, oh yeah, I play baseball. I'm pretty good at baseball. It's shifted to like, damn, like I'm good at what I do, and I know I'm getting somewhere with my progress. And I think it's really helped like boost my confidence. Like last game I played, I went from having poor at bats, like not swinging the bat once through two at bats to hitting balls hard and getting base hits. So it's really shifted like a confidence. It's been like a mad confidence boost for me. So
Sick. And actually translating and affecting your play out on the field.
yeah,
Yeah, bro.
100%.
That's awesome, dude. That's the goal here, man. That's the goal. And I remember on our first initial call, we had talked about how you were training, I believe, I don't want to say the wrong number. I think it was 8 months.
Yeah,
Is that correct? You were training
yeah.
for 8 months, had a little bit of gains in the beginning, but it kind of felt like you were just kind of running in circles, man. Just kind of on the hamster wheel with some of your development. Um, if you never reached out, dude, and just kind of kept what you were doing there, where do you think you'd be right now in comparison to where you are?
Not as far as I am now. I think I would have been slowly getting somewhere, but I don't think I would have gained 11 miles an hour in 2 months.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Tell me about that a little bit, and where your headspace was at when you were stuck for those 8 months. Now, you don't need to like name the program and start talking bad about them, but where were you at mentally and physically when you were in that hamster wheel, kind of training without guidance for that 8 months, man?
It was more so just like damn, I haven't seen a needle move in a hot minute. Like I was like I was originally it was just like straight up like yes, let's go, and then it was just plateau, and then I was like I was hitting singles which is
Mm.
fine and all. But then I was just like, damn, when's the pop gonna start coming in? It was just it slowly started to deplete my confidence, should I say, in a slow sense. And then it was just a slow burn, slow burn, slow burn, and then yeah.
For sure, dude. I think that's a really interesting point. How you brought up the beginning was really good trajectory, and then it kind of plateaued. And to be honest, that's where a lot of programs fall really short.
Mm,
And they are lacking in just a couple really key things. What it was most likely lacking, and this is coming again from, a strength and conditioning, focused brain here, where they probably had you, doing really good stuff at the beginning. You probably got some gains, but they didn't give you anything beyond that point that was dynamic and specific for your actual progress as you kind of continued. And the stimulus that they were giving you was probably just the same thing that they gave you at the start, saying, hey, it worked then, why not now? But that's actually a big fallacy. As athletes progress through programming, you have to throw new things at them. That's the only way they adapt. That's the only way you'll see new gains. So that's quite the opposite, I would say, of kind of what we got going on here. As you're adapting and progressing, you got new tempos all the time inside your training. You got new exercises. You got things that not only break the monotony, but scientifically are giving you new stimulus and new adaptability within your training. And guys, that's why, and of course, Dan puts in 100% effort. That's without saying that's what's really going to move the needle here. But when you pair that with a structure that actually adapts, progresses, and is dynamic over time, you get out of that plateau stuff and you actually start, seeing more gains like this over time instead of just falling short. So that's awesome, dude. I appreciate you sharing that about that program.
awesome.
And um, if there was maybe another parent out there that messaged you about maybe their kid or their player wanting to join the program, but they're kind of on the fence and they're like, my son's never even met this guy. How do I know he's not scamming me? What would you say back to that parent, Dan?
Uh, Personally, I'd say just trust it, reach out. Like the worst that you can say is like, no, sorry, I don't think this is a fit. Like reach out, hop on a call, see what happens, because obviously the results do follow. So just yeah, I'd just say reach out. Like the worst you say is no. The worst that can happen is nothing goes ahead. So just yeah, reach out and trust it.
Sick, dude. Awesome. And on the flip, if that same player reached out to you and he was watching this video or whatever, and he was on the fence, what would you tell him directly as well?
I'd say some of the same, but I'd also say like, hey, look at the Instagram, like look at the results, look at everything that he posts. Like you're like it's relatable to athletes. So if you stay relatable to him, and then he can buy in, so it'll become a lot more personalized for him to continue gaining, and then obviously it'll help him get where he wants to go, he or she.
Yeah, dude. 100%. And just as we kind of wrap this up, I've gotten some athletes, of course that are kind of on the fence. They may want to join, they may not, but a lot of the time they have these certain beliefs that might stop them from, actually joining the program and seeing the results they deserve. One of those is I'm just too busy, or I don't have enough time to commit to a program like this. Dan, in your eyes, man, and you're a busy guy. I mean, you're actually in school right now because of we're in different hemispheres. You're actually in school. So, what would you tell that player who says, maybe I'm too busy for this. I just don't have time to hop on the protocol.
uh Personally, I'd say if you really wanted it, you would make time, but I don't think that really flies too well. So I'd probably just say like there's always time in the day. Like it takes 45 minutes to do your workout. that's 45 minutes that you can take in the afternoon after school, or you wake up as a fraction earlier in the morning to do your morning routine. Like it just because you're busy doesn't completely eliminate the possibility of you joining the protocol. So
Yeah, dude. And by the way, you're definitely right when you said that first part. So definitely don't definitely don't need to censor that, man. That's fact. And then finally, man, it's just the in-person, that in-person mindset of in-person's way better, or maybe I'm just unfamiliar with online training. What would you tell that person who is maybe exploring the online option, but just doesn't have the belief that it's going to work as much or better than in-person lessons?
I'd say, just buy in, like take a rip, because what you give in is what you'll get out. So you just got to trust not only whoever is joining the program, but you and who's running the program, but you've also got to trust yourself to progress in the program. Because if you don't trust yourself, but you trust the other guy, you're not really making any gains. You got to have the belief in yourself that you're going to get somewhere, as well as believing in you or Coach Ross or whatever program they're joining.
Yeah, dude. I love that you said that because that is really where it starts. And
Mm,
you could go to an in-person guy, and if you don't have belief in yourself, it's still going to fall flat. So
yeah.
you're exactly right, dude. That is the first domino that you really got to assess here is, okay, do I believe in myself to commit to something? And then do I believe in myself to give that my 100%? If if you believe in yourself in both of those faculties, you're going to make progress inside of this protocol. I mean, without a doubt. But yeah, man, that applies to anything we do in life. Applies to your schoolwork, your in-person training, and the online training. Really doesn't matter. So I love that angle, man, for sure. Um, that's really about it. That's all I got for you, Dan. I just want to say, I appreciate you for hopping on, dude. Um, I love the gains you've been making, dude. 11 EV, 10 bat speed, half a second on the 60 is incredible. We're going to continue to work. This is only month two. We got 4 more months of this thing, dog, and we're going to push those numbers up to the highest of our abilities. And let's go ahead and hit the week strong here, and let's continue to ride, brother.
100%. Let's
Sweet,
do
dude.
it.
More PRs to come, man. I appreciate you.
Heck yeah. Thank you.